Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for Aries Sun and Rising, and this is about the transit of Jupiter into Aries after being in Pisces, and then back into Pisces and then back into Aries by the end of the year. Before I continue, it's important to note that this is a general reading because you have different. If you're listening for the sun, you have different degrees of sun. If you're listening for the rising, different degrees of rising. And that affects the house placements. Okay. If you would like a private reading that includes the transits, you can click on the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com, and you can see the individualized natal chart, especially because the natal chart will give the mundane trends for the astrology in your chart. So as I record this at the beginning of April in 2022, Jupiter is still in Pisces. And for Aries, this is your 12th house. So Jupiter in the 12th house can give you a guardian angel that is keeping you safe from hidden enemies. That's part of the 12th house. This can be you benefiting in some way when you are going towards spiritual goals. And actually, this is also connected to the Pisces, Neptune and Pisces transit, which, if you happen to be listening before April 12th, will be forming a conjunction on April 12th, Neptune and Jupiter. And this is in that 12th house, very, very spiritual, idealistic. And Neptune has been in this house for years. Jupiter has recently joined Neptune there. So a lot of Aries people could be really pumped up with spirituality because you have Chiron in your first house in Aries. So on May 10th, Jupiter goes into Aries, goes into your sign or your rising sign, the first house of the self. And this is a whole new cycle because it's the first house. So what can happen is that you are feeling much more optimistic. This is something that an Aries sun sign already it feels like, because Aries is a fire sign and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, another fire sign. So fire signs tend to be very enthusiastic by nature. But what if your rising sign is Aries and your sun sign is Capricorn, and you have a tendency to be quite dour sometimes? And maybe the rising sign makes you kind of snappish or impatient, but it doesn't necessarily improve your mood because you know, if it's within a certain degree, your sun and rising, it's going to form a square. And that can make you a little bit frustrated, maybe on a regular basis. This is going to make you much more cheerful, much more willing to look at life with the glass half full. And you may exude more confidence, although again, if your rising sign is Aries, then you will already have confidence, but maybe it comes across more as being quite pushy, and this might be more where you're happy-go-lucky, where you're kind of chill. You let frustrations roll off your back. If you have been trying to promote yourself, this can be a great transit to have, because the first house is the house of the self. And so because you have this kind of more expansive attitude, everything in your life can be much more fortunate, and it can make you feel quite hopeful. By the way, I want to give a shout out to cafeastrology.com, because that's where I'm taking some of these, talking points, if you will, or all of the talking points, but, kind of elaborating on it. And so, being a new cycle, this can open doors for you, because Jupiter is all about expansion. And so not only are you promoting yourself, you may find that the world is giving you new opportunities. This is a great time to embark upon improving yourself in some way, because Jupiter is ruling, Jupiter rules the ninth house, and part of that is philosophy and the way that you view life itself. And it's the God house. So it really deals with the idea of the spiritual path, and for people that are more secular, just how they better themselves in some way through expansion. So that might be something that you undertake in a very conscious sort of way. One thing to watch out for that they mention is about gaining weight, because this is about the body. So the body could expand. But I saw another site, I think it was called Dark Pixie astrology.com or something like that. And they were saying, if you've already been starting on a weight reduction path, that this can assist you. But part of where I think they're going with this as well is that you may be optimistic, but you might be overly optimistic. And if you think about the tarot and the Nine of Cups, which I think is associated in part with Jupiter, it's that idea of too much of a good thing. And, there's an excess with Jupiter sometimes. And so when it comes to the body, you might have other things in your life give you more prosperity and more opportunities. And so you may have this kind of a heightened sense of well-being that makes you think that, it's time to celebrate. Jupiter's always up for a good party. So it's really about reining it in sometimes so that it doesn't become excessive. But definitely, I think that this can be a very lucky time for you overall, because I always look at the first house as kind of the catch-all house for your life as a whole. And having Jupiter here can make you feel more optimistic. And if you think about the law of attraction, that can certainly help you as well to attract more of the same. Now, Jupiter is going to go retrograde on July 28th at 8 degrees of Aries. And let's see, I'm looking to see when it goes back into Pisces. It'll be on the 28th of October when it goes back into Pisces. It's really weird how I'm seeing all these the 28th of a month, these different things occurring. So it's going to go back into Pisces on the 28th of October. And then it goes direct on November 23rd, which also happens to be the new moon in Sagittarius at 1 degree of Sag. This is your fellow sister fire sign. Maybe I should say brother fire sign, since fire signs are masculine signs. So that seems kind of an interesting time for it to go direct. Kind of like, and for Aries, this is your ninth house, Sag. That's where the new moon is going to be. And that's Jupiter's house. So there you go. More synchronicities or connections, I should say. And then it goes back into Aries, Jupiter, on December 20th. Now, guess what that time period is? Well, it's right before Christmas, but it's the day before the winter solstice or summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. Another important time where the sun goes into a cardinal sign. You're a cardinal sign too, Aries, so these are times when things start to happen during the 4 seasons, the 4 cardinal signs. So then it's going back into that first house. So that is very cool. And so you end the year with Jupiter back in that first house going into 2023. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you would like a private reading, I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.